Hello and welcome in this new episode on our GitHub series where we're going to talk about GitHub CLI. GitHub CLI is the command line interface alternative to GitHub. It can be installed on Windows, Linux, Mac, and several operating systems. In order to start to use GitHub CLI, we need to set up authentication with CLI out commands that will allow you to log in using your GitHub credentials and log out once you have done. You can also check your authentication state and so on. Another aspect of setup process is configurations. With that one, you can configure the protocol used for Git as well as the browser that will be used for opening URLs, including the text editor and more. Some of the commands offered by the GitHub CLI interface are aliases, API, browse, cache, code space, extension, gist, issue, PR command, release, repo, run, SSH key, workflow, and more. We are going to focus on API, workflow, and run commands as they allow you to take automation at the next level. For instance, with the workflow command, you can list, view, and run workflows and GitHub actions. With run command, you can download artifacts from a workflow, run, and you can also rerun, list, and watch workflow runs from GitHub actions. What about the API command? You can make HTTP requests to the GitHub API endpoint, since there is practically an endpoint for almost every GitHub resources, and you can use it to further automate processes and retrieve data. Let's move on practice right now. Install and use the GitHub CLI. To do that, let's go on your favorite browser and search for GitHub CLI installer. Once you have this page open, you can download for the operating system that you use. For me, it's Windows, so I'm just going to download it. Then install it. By default, don't change anything. Everything should be alright. Then after that, open your command prompt, and you're going to run this command in order to verify that our installation succeeded. So it's gh-version command that you're going to run, and you will be able to see that output. So right now, let's run gh command, and you will see that the output is all the commands available with the GitHub CLI. You have different sections here: core commands, GitHub action commands, and finally downstairs additional command. So the section of core command, what's that? So the core commands are the commands that we can use in order to interact with github.com, like gh-alt, browse gist, issue, project, release, repo, code space, and so on. For instance, here, if I use the browse, it's going to allow me to open a repository in the browser. So about the GitHub action commands, they are useful in order to interact with workflows. For instance, here we have gh run workflow. You also have a alias command section here that records all the aliases that you have created already. And finally, downstairs you have additional commands where you can find the command alias in order to create an alias, API, completion, config, extension, label, rule set, and so on. You can drop a pause and read all the detail. Finally, you have the help topic section where you have a couple comments that you can run in order to get help on GitHub CLI. So after that, you have the help topic section where you can have the comment that you can use in order to get any help. And at the end here, you have flags section that provide you a couple detail with the -help, the -version, how to flag a comment, right? So that's a little bit it about all the section. Right now, let's start by setting up the authentication with command gh-alt. When I run this command, you can see the command that you can use with gh out. You can see login and so on. For our case now, we would like to log in, so we're just going to run gh out login now. Then choose github.com since it's the version. After that, we're going to choose HTTPS.
Authenticate Git with your GitHub credential. Yes. There is a way to use the login option with the web browser, or you can create a token, token authentication token, exactly how we did it on the previous episode. But for this one, I'm going to use the login with a web browser option. Enter. And first, copy your one-time code, which is that one. Copy this. Press enter to open this link in your browser. Alright. Once you press enter, I'm just going to click on continue and paste that code that I got previously here and continue. Then you see this authorization was requested from Denver. You have all the detail on the position where we requested the authorization. So full control, create gigs, read org and team member, read org project, full control of private repository, update GitHub action workflow, and so on. Okay, so these are the existing access that we have. When you use the token option, you can choose what are the scope that you're going to have. Okay, so I'm going to say authorize and verify via email. So now I'm going to receive a code through my email account. So I'm going to get that code quickly. I've copied that code. I'm just going to paste it here and click on verify. Congratulations, you are all set. Okay, so we are good now, and you can see on this side, authentication complete. gh config set -h github.com git protocol https configure git protocol log in as yqt. You were already logged in the you were already logged in to this account, so we're good to continue now. Let me know in comment if you have questions for this section.
Let's run now gh out status, and we can see active account true, git operation protocol is https, and the token that we are using is showing up with the beginning later, and token scopes gonna provide gigs, read, repo workflow. And now let's run the gh repo command in order to see what command we have right there. So for gh repo, you're going to see the general command section. We create a new repo, list repo owned by user or organization. You're going to see the target command section where we have archive, clone, delete, deploy key, and so on. Let's go ahead now and run gh repo list to list all the repo that we have on our GitHub account. You can see that is showing by default 30 on the total amount, but we can change that. Okay, let's see other options that we have with gh repo list. You have the --help option. You can see that you can filter output with flags, --archive, --fork, gq for to filter JSON output, no archive flag, limit int that is defined by default to 30, which is the reason that we have 30 output a couple seconds ago. We have a visibility string. We have --visibility string where we can filter by repo visibility using public, private, or internet. Okay, so let's move forward now and create a repo that we're going to use for the next step. gh repo create. Okay, we have three options here. Create a new repo on GitHub from scratch, create a new repo on GitHub from a template repo, or push an existing local repository to GitHub. We're going to choose the first option, from scratch. Then we will provide the name, which is GitHub CLI repo. After that, I'm going to provide a short description as well. So After that, we're going to set up the visibility to public. Then create readme file. Yes, we would like to add that git in your file. Yes, for git in your template, I found Python. Python is the one that I'm going to choose here, okay, to use as a git in your template. And about the license, I'm going to choose Apache 2.0, exactly the same one that we have chosen on the previous episode. The final, yes, to create our GH CLI repo as a public repo on GitHub, we're going to say yes. Then it asks us if we want to clone it, I mean the new repo locally now. I'm going to say no for right now. So I can also move on the right directory and clone our GitHub repo that we just created. Okay, so since everything looks good now, let's run first a GH repo list comment, then copy our repo name. Okay, so once I did that, I can run GH repo clone and provide the name of our repo. Okay, I validated that, and by running the command in my repo, you can see that we have our new repo clone listed. Okay, let's access that folder now and list the content. You know, the command is cd for change directory. You can see the readme file, the .git file, and the license. Everything is showing up exactly how we have set up. Let's see now how to create an issue. We can do that by using the command gh issue create, and we provide the repo name where we want to create our issue. After that, the prompt asks us to provide the title. We're going to call it fix display bug, for instance. Then we're going to add a comment for the body, or enter to skip that. I think that we're just going to skip that here, then submit this issue. Okay, it is output the link of my issue, which is https and so on. So I can copy that link right now and go on my favorite browser, and I will be able to see that issue created on my account, on my GitHub account, on that repository. Okay, so you can see how it's looking. By pasting the link on the browser, we access it. That's it. Okay, now let's list our issue using gh issue list command. The issue that we just created appeared. The issue that we just created appeared, right? Another great usage of GitHub CLI is with API. Let's pull out the documentation for that through our browser here. Let's search GitHub API documentation and let's access it. On the left side, you can see all the endpoints that we have with GitHub CLI. Let's locate, for instance, issues, then click on the next issue. Okay, here we have the instruction for all the endpoints. When you click on menu now and list repo issue, on the left side you can get the instruction on how it works. On the right side you have the instruction on how it is used depending on tools, curl, JavaScript, and GitHub CLI, which is the one that we're going to use here. In our case, we are going to do it through GitHub CLI, right? So go ahead on GitHub CLI and copy this block. Okay, let's paste that into a notepad, and you can see that the command is gh API and so on. Okay, so let's change the owner with our account and the repo with our repository name. Now let's copy that and paste on our command prompt and press enter key. It didn't work right now because I need to fix my comment, make it one line comment to enter it on the right way. When I hit enter, it returns a JSON output with all the data about our issue. In this case, the issues in our repository that we have created. Just like this, we are going to be able to access different endpoints on our repository by replacing issues. Let's do it with releases, for instance. The output is blank since we don't have any releases in this repository. Let's try out also events commit activity, as well as any other that you can think of here on our GitHub CLI documentation. It is a great way to automate and obtain data from your GitHub account and repositories. Like and subscribe if you have learned something new in this episode, and I will see you on the next episode on this great GitHub series. Thank you and bye.